Last night after the show, I took my Thirdzy, was ready for bed, turned on the Steelers-Ravens game. Everything went out the window. We're going to talk about it next.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
It's lunchtime. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Lunch with the Clydesdale. So glad to be with you today. So pumped. We've got CrossFit here already. We've got WRM 1922. We've got Frida. What is up? Can't wait to hang out with you for a little bit today. Where do I want to start? CrossFit says, so is the real bracket vote now? I'll be honest, man, that bracket took it out of me last night. I was telling the ladies after the show last night that when I was putting together the bracket, I went to this website. It's a place where you can set up brackets for different sporting events. And so I set it up, I typed everything in, and then I clicked off of it and it all deleted. So I had to go back and redo the entire bracket all over again after that. And then last night, like everybody was complaining about what was on the bracket, but I only took what was suggested by people in the comments or the poll I posted on YouTube. But in the end, Rocky was the winner, and it should be. Rocky is the greatest sports movie ever. It won our greatest sports movies ever. Hoosiers was the movie battling it, which I would consider one of the best sports movies as well. If I can remember correctly, baseball was The Natural, ice sports was Miracle, football was Remember the Titans, basketball was Hoosiers, combat was Rocky, other sports was dodgeball, maybe. Racing movies ended up being Talladega Nights, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to remember now. It seems like eons ago, but CrossFit says, I did not comment, so I have no ownership. It's kind of a bad CrossFit Games. We found the fittest in spite of ourselves and the programming. There you go. The poll worked 60% of the time, every time. It did. It's really tough because, like, just like a peek behind the curtains, you're really trying to get engagement with the videos we post. And so I pushed for people to make comments on the YouTube channel, not in the chat, because it pushes our engagement. And that's what I'm trying to do with these things. In addition to it being fun, I thought it'd be fun to look at, we put together 64 of what I consider to be, and the crowd considered to be, the greatest sports movies of all time. And we narrowed it down to Rocky, the original Rocky. So, yeah, so that's where we got to. It was a long haul to get there, but we did make it, and Rocky beat Hoosiers in the final by a nice chunk too. But we had some last night that ended in ties that we had to wait for one more vote just to kind of move us on into the bracket. So yeah, it was really, really interesting. Shay, can't say watched, but looking forward to catching up later. Yeah, the nice thing is when you watch it back later is you can fast forward through some of the arguing as we went through the whole thing. But Jamie has said that next time she will take charge of it, and she can do it, and she can run the poll, and we'll do it that way. But there we go. CrossFit says seating is such a factor. I truly believe seeding is a factor to getting towards the end. But at the end of the day, the best movie is going to win no matter who it's up against. And I think we got there. I think just like the CrossFit Games always finds the fittest, we were able to do that. So, I said in the opening, like last night after the show, I drank my Thirdzy. I was getting ready for bed, and then that Sunday night game, the last NFL game of the season, Steelers and Ravens, was so freaking wild. I could not go to sleep, yet the Thirdzy was kicking in, trying to put me to sleep, and I'm watching the end of that game. It was absolutely bananas. And so if you want a good sleep aid that tries to wreck you watching a football game, get Thirdzy. Thirdzy.com/Jazzy. Get you 15% off your order, or use Jazzy at checkout to get 15% off that order. Last night, I just went with a nice, refreshing strawberry lemonade. It was awesome, but it was not awesome that it was putting me to sleep while trying to watch Aaron Rodgers really kind of put on a show at the end of the season and get the Steelers into the playoffs. But it was a crazy ending. If you did not see the end of that game, missed extra points, missed field goals, wide open receivers, a ton of points in the last 5 minutes of the game. It was absolutely bananas. Tarico's call on the kick was perfect. It was so crazy. My wife is a big time Steeler fan. So I was just trying to root on the Steelers so I had a good week. The fact that the Steelers are in the playoffs, I actually get to live happy for the week. So we have the Bears game on Saturday night. We have the Steelers game on Monday night in the playoffs. So we have some nice primetime games to watch this week. It's going to be fun. Joseph Ramirez, Vision Quest wasn't mentioned at all. Vision Quest was 2 weeks ago in the combat series. It was listed. It was put up for a vote. And it didn't make it. It didn't make it. CrossFit had a bourbon old fashioned, same. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I wonder what's going through Kicker's head for the Ravens. They did a great job on Get Up this morning, showing that he actually lifted his head on the last kick. The other kicks the entire night, he did not. He kept his head down and swung through the ball. First, but then on that last kick, he actually looked to see where it was going. They did a nice job showing it. So, well, their last kicker had too many jobs in quotes. Yes. Man, you would think that football players would learn. You would have thought Deshaun Watson was an example of how you can ruin your life and your career by a quick little happy ending here and there. And the Baltimore Ravens kicker did not learn that lesson. Keeping it real, I guess we're stuck with Tomlin. Dude, Steeler fans drive me bananas. My wife is one. My entire family are Steeler fans. You guys are so spoiled having winning teams all the time. I would have taken Mike Tomlin in a heartbeat as my coach. The Bears do not win ever. Finally, we have the right coach in Ben Johnson. But my God, Mike Tomlin in 19 years has never had a losing season. He's gotten to the playoffs. He's won a Super Bowl, all of that stuff. And Steeler fans just continue to bitch about him. It drives me absolutely bananas. A loser fires their coach first. Lots of firings, man. Black Monday. It is crazy. The Falcons fired their coach last night. Pete Carroll got fired from the Raiders today. Kevin Stefanski got fired from the Browns today. It was just announced that the Cardinals fired their coach. Forgive me if I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Probably why he got fired. So yeah, We'll see who else doesn't make it through the day. But the Giants have kept Joe Shane, the guy who decided that Saquon Barkley wasn't worth keeping, and that Danny Dimes, oh gosh, shoot, now I can't even think of his last name. Danny, why am I having a blank? He played for the Colts this year and tore his Achilles. Shoot, that he was worth saving, and then they ended up cutting him anyway. But yeah, he's going to be retained as a GM. So if you're a Giants fan, I feel so sorry for you. Yeah, the kicker for the Ravens replaced the most accurate kicker in NFL history, who had some issues. Tomlin's post game killed me. It was awesome. But listen to me. I love Tomlin, but listen, there has never been a coach with such a set in stone ceiling. I think if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm more upset with the GM and the talent that was brought in. They have not brought in a wide receiver in 5 years worth a damn. Or if they do, he's a head case, or they only have one and nobody to go on the other side of him. And the defense is getting old and they're not really doing anything about it. Yeah, it was Gannon was the coach for the Cardinals, and Daniel Jones was the quarterback for the Giants. Tomlin can win a Super Bowl if we get a great quarterback. It's slightly concerning. He couldn't do it with the Killer Bees, but I believe he can do it with another Big Ben. Well, the problem is it's hard to find a Big Ben. Being a Bears fan, we don't even know how until Caleb Williams, we have not been able to find a quarterback in 104 years. It was year 105. We drafted Caleb Williams and may actually have an answer. What's going on, Jody? Rodgers may be a bit too old to really carry a team. He carried him last night. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. So I think that's enough for the NFL today. I mean, I could talk about it all day, but I know that you guys are here for more of the CrossFit thing. So I wanted to talk about, this is kind of my last look back on, okay, I've got to address this. Why is Caleb Williams' completion percentage low? It is low because, one, he probably leads the league in drops. Even on yesterday's game, Fox was putting a drop counter up on the throws that he makes and get dropped. The other thing is, this was a point made by one of the analysts, I can't even remember. He gets out of so much danger by his elusiveness that he is throwing when it becomes more difficult, even though it looks simple. And so that leads to it too. And the other thing is he's missing some throws. He's in his second year, first year in this offense. Give him another year. He also leads the league in explosive plays. So like you take one with the other, right? I don't know. I'm happy with him. As a Bears fan, I'll take him any day of the week. All right. So last year, this is the last look back I'm going to do on 2025, but I just wanted to share the one thing that truly changed this channel last year was this video that was done by Andrew Hiller. If you guys remember this, it was Clydesdale versus the Queen. And while when this went up, it really kind of changed the number of views we got, the subscribers we had. And it changed it pretty dramatically, I will say. It's not the thing, that's not the thing that this video changed. I went into a thing where I decided to do this lunch show every single day. And it was new. I had never done a daily show. I had never done a show by myself, but it was something that I wanted to try to get comfortable in front of a mic, just talking to you, the audience. And what happened with this video is I had actually started to kind of open up because I didn't have a co-host anymore, and I could just talk freely. I could talk about my feelings, and those feelings wouldn't impact anybody else on the show. They were all going to be put on me. No matter what I said, it was on me. And I started to do more commentary, more riffing on things that are going around in the space. I'd kept a lot of things pent up for many, many years. And all of a sudden, I decided that I was not going to do that anymore. I was going to talk about the things that bothered me. I was going to talk about the inequities that happen around the space. I was going to talk about some of those issues. And when I started doing it, it started to get shared by other people like Andrew. And there was a period where in like a 3-week time, he shared like 3 of my videos. And it's not because Andrew and I are super close. I've met him. He's an awesome dude. We communicate occasionally, but it's not like it's a daily friendship. And he's sharing these things because I'm saying things that are going to get some attention. And what that did is give me the confidence that what I was doing was the right thing for me, that I was speaking what I knew to be true. I was speaking what I thought was going on in the space and what needed to change about the space and what I liked about everything. And it became more honest, and it became, and I wasn't afraid to like piss people off anymore. Forever, I was afraid to piss people off. And it seemed like, whenever I came up with this daily show, this came out 5 months ago. I think I started the show maybe 2 or 3 months before that, if that. And it really just gave me the confidence to kind of keep moving in this direction. Yeah, I stopped playing it safe. Why were you scared to piss people off? I was more afraid of saying something that my co-host would not agree with, or maybe get upset about. And I don't know why I was doing that. I don't know. But all of a sudden, when I started doing this for myself and by myself, all of those restrictions seemed to be removed in my head. And I don't know why it was removed, but all of a sudden, and maybe I just got older and said, what the hell? I'm going to talk about what I want to. Losing access or audiences. I never really looked at things that way. It's confusing. I think it was really when I have co-hosts, I want to let them shine and I don't want to steal thunder. And when I went on my own, it allowed me this avenue to just say what I want without worrying about giving everybody their due time and their due say. It was just, let me talk. Because let's be honest, I'm not a big fish in this pond. I'm not getting the tons of views that Savon and Hiller and them are getting. What I take pride in now is that we have 2,950 subscribers, and there's Sunday night shows. We hit 1,500 views. So we are hitting like a 50% ratio to views to subscribers, which I take a lot of pride in, This show started out, I was getting like 30, 50 people. Now it's very easy to get 300 in the off season. And when the season hits, that number goes way up. So and I don't even care about those numbers. I really don't. This became me coming down and having an hour a day to hang out with all of you all and talk about stuff I care about and get a break from my mundane job that I just needed a break from. And with that came a truthfulness and an honesty that has actually grown the channel, which is wild. And I have more fun with this than interviewing athletes, which was the mainstay of this channel for many, many years. I mean, we've probably interviewed 400 to 500 athletes on this channel. And that used to be the mainstay. Now it's just chatting with you. It's having a place to hang out every day on my lunch hour to just get a break from what's going on with everything there, which is truly, truly becoming an enjoyment for me. And it's hard. It's hard to come up with topics every single day to talk about. So hard. But a lot of times I come in here and I just start chatting with you. You guys start chatting back in the chat, and it just becomes a natural conversation about something that I didn't even plan. And that's what this has beautifully become. I'm glad to see shows break away from just trying to be TEF or Savan and find their voices. Yeah, it's crazy, CrossFit, because when I did this, I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just wanted to get more comfortable talking at a screen. Like, I'm sitting here in my basement looking at a screen and then chatting with you guys in the chat and talking about things that I experienced over the last 24 hours and having a ball doing all of it. And a lot of times it's very unscripted and unplanned. And then I added Corey just for like a little levity during the week. And man, when he's on, we go completely unscripted. When I talk with him, we could be all over the place, and it's really, really crazy. So yeah, it's awesome. And it was really that video that Hiller put out that gave me the confidence to keep doing what I'm doing, to keep just pushing on and being myself and being open and being honest about everything. There's something here. Shoot. I wanted to. Meanwhile, Caro and Jamie don't care. They're just great. What I love is that the three of us don't seem to ever agree on anything. And if you watched last night's show, we played pencil, pen, and Sharpie. I think of the three topics, all of them, one of us said pencil, one said pen, and one said Sharpie. And that's the beauty of that show. And it's organic. It is completely organic. We all believe different things, and we get to argue our points. And that's what makes that show really special. This show, it's me coming on here, just chatting with you, and then Corey not even able to spell script. And you can ask him. I don't even send him a note. We don't even generally talk before the show. We just hit live and just start chatting. It is wild. Mark Phillips, I'm not listening because of a meeting, so I don't know the context here, but just wanted to say I look forward to your show every day. Love the consistency and the schedule. Do hypothetically speaking, if you had to hit a 1 rep max before the WOD and have a back thing going on, beat the leaderboard by 5 pounds, or just smash it and deal with the consequences? Larry, I'm at a point in my life where after 12 back procedures, if I have to hit a 1 rep max and I don't have the time to set it up and do it the way that I can do it safely, I just back off for the day and take the loss. That's just where I am in life. If I was at a competition, I would warm up well, I would get in the right place, and I would go ahead and do it. But if it's like a quick, it's funny because, Christy Aramo O'Connell was my coach for a long time. And we had a lot of discussions that in my 50s, I look at the class board, and sometimes it's beneficial to pick one or the other to go for. If you have a lift and you have a Metcon, you make the decision that one of these I'm going to hit with everything I got, and the other thing I'm going to back off a little bit and just kind of move and get good quality movement in. And that really changed the way my CrossFit journey went, by having that thought process involved in it. And that all came from Christy Aramo O'Connell and her husband, Patrick. They were awesome about coaching those things out, that you don't have to win every single workout. Just pick the one that you want to hit that day, and the other one, do 75, 80% and just get through and live to fight another day. Because as you get into your 50s, sometimes you just can't handle the load of everything, or if you don't have enough time to warm up properly, and things like that. Kenneth says established dominance. You don't want it to be your last fight, though. That's all I'm saying. CrossFit says, what about like 200 plus muscle ups? Very, very excellent point, CrossFit. Frida, don't mess with your back unless it's like the finals. It's just too risky. I only have one I can go for, but WOD is more important right now. That's what I'm saying. When I was doing that stuff, Larry, a lot of times I would forego the lift to hit the Metcon that day. But sometimes I was in that headspace where I needed to lift. You just have to figure it all out, right? And see what's best for you on that day. And it may be one or the other in that day. But you and I are both athletes that need the Metcon generally more often than we need the lift. You're going to be able to lift heavy till the day you die. Do you need to prove it every single day you're in the gym? No. Because deep down inside, if you need to lift it, you're going to lift it. Chattanooga says the dad of the guy who tore his pec for a silly challenge. Things are so crazy. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't push yourself to do things that are outside the box. I'll be honest with you. I was so impressed with what John Young did. Going into that, I was like, there's no way he's going to even come close. And the fact that he got to 190 before the pec tear, that is, as Corey would say, that's crazy town banana pants. I would have never predicted him getting that far into that challenge. I thought he would have tired out way before that. And the fact he did it, I was so, so impressed. Hopefully the pec injury is not severe and it's not a tear, but just like a slight strain that he can kind of work his way through. If he went slower, no tear. Maybe. It's funny because I work the games with all the pec tears, the regionals with all the pec tears. I was working security. I watched all these high-end athletes walk back into the warm-up area devastated because they tore a pec. And they were the fittest people in the world. And so it happens. Things like that happen. Should you do 200 muscle ups? Probably not. But David Reed, at my age, 1 rep maxes are out of the question. They shouldn't be out of the question. You can still do a 1 rep max. It just may be less than what it used to be. Dave handled those pec tears like the pegboards. Yeah. Yep. That's actually pretty accurate, CrossFit. 36 athletes, mostly or all men. Yes. But it wasn't the programming. It wasn't the programming. I can still see Dan Bailey and Sam Dancer's face back in the warm-up area, devastated by what happened. Sam was so devastated. Larry says he's fine. It's like the Achilles ruptures. Don't jump is kind of a shit answer or rebound. Yeah, Carolyn has a really different perspective on that. And it's really about how much you do plyometrics and how much you set your body up to handle those things. If you don't rebound all the time and then you try to rebound is when you get hurt. But if you do it all the time, you've set your body up for that, that movement, and it doesn't seem to be as bad. Ortega is doing well with his Achilles tear. CrossFit says it was kind of the end of Chris Harris and Lucero's run. Same with the Stonebergs. Yeah. You keep bringing up Kobe, but Kobe is a unicorn in this case. And basketball is a completely different sport. Basketball and football, they have side-to-side movement where CrossFit is all straight ahead. And so it has a different strain on the Achilles than CrossFit would ever have. The last thing I wanted to talk about is last night, one of our pencil pen Sharpie questions was, is CrossFit heading in the right direction? And I want to explain myself just a little bit more. I answered it with Sharpie because I do think the direction they're going is in the right way. Do I think they are approaching perfection? No, I do not. But a year ago, we had no media presence at all. If you look on the CrossFit's Instagram, Twitter, and their YouTube channel, there is so much more activity today than there was then. If you look at the CrossFit game season, the amount of changes that have been made, how early everything has been announced, all of that is heading in the right direction. Is it where everything should be? Probably not. Most likely not. But the direction is correct. So that is how I looked at that comment last night. Is I do believe that CrossFit is heading in the correct direction. Are they going fast enough? Are they going far enough? No, but the direction is correct. And we're still talking about Achilles. So with that, I also think that this pending sale has the people at CrossFit handcuffed. They can all say that they're just moving forward like life is normal. But James Hobart said it on the spin a week ago that it's hard coming in and hearing these rumors and trying to dig in and figure out what's actually going on. How do you keep moving in that direction when there's all these stories and rumors floating around that, hey, you're going to sell. Hey, maybe not. We're not going to sell. Hey, maybe we are. And it just keeps going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's got to be very, very difficult for the people at HQ currently to drive in that direction that they want to go into and to do it at 110%. They just can't. And I think CrossFit makes a great point too. It's like turning a cruise ship. If you're in a little business in a speedboat, you can make quick decisions and turn and go with the ebbs and flows of the water or what's going on in the space. But CrossFit has become very, very large. It is a global company, and to move these things quickly is going to be difficult. In addition, they're really, really handcuffed because they don't know who's going to own the joint in the next month, 6 months, year, who knows? And it's got to be really, really difficult for them to make all of the significant changes that they want to make. We don't know what the approval process is for all the content they do put out. You know, they're getting a lot more content out than they used to, but who has to be the last rubber stamp to get it out the door? We don't even know who that is anymore. We don't know the process they have to go through. And if you're the board, you're trying to you have perceived image that you want to put out there for the sale, that you may be saying no to a lot of things that could be done with a new owner in place. Then again, we could get a shit owner that doesn't allow any of it, and we are back to square one. Frida, is on the owners to be more like leaders for the HQ. I do not disagree with you, but I think we can all agree that this private equity company are not good leaders. They are not there to lead this team and move things in the right direction. Yet the team itself is taking it upon themselves to make changes, to get information out more quickly, to get content out to the different socials. That is an amazing part of this, that the group that is doing that are doing amazing things in spite of all the other stuff, in spite of not having good leadership, in spite of the pending sale. They're getting things out in the right direction. But I do think they're handcuffed in being able to go to the lengths that they want to go. Lots of browser time on LinkedIn, I bet. Probably. Looking for that next opportunity. I know when I first started with the state, I was probably 5-6 years in, and there were rumors that there were going to be layoffs. When those rumors of layoffs came, the entire production of where I worked slowed to a halt because everybody was just worried about themselves and where they were going to end up, or were they going to end up on the street. And until that was resolved, nothing got done. Nothing got done. And so the fact that this sale is happening, and let's be honest, when a company sells these days, the first thing the new owners do is clean house. So if there's this pending sale and you're worried for your work life, how in the hell are you supposed to be the best and most productive you can be? The human side of it is so hard. We can set the expectations up that you should continue to do your job. You're hired to do a job. You're paid to do a job. But man, when you're worried about, am I going to be able to put food on the table in a month? That's tough. So, yeah. What I find fascinating is Jonathan Ortega can do box jumps at 20 inches and single under, and he says that he's too much of a bitch to try 24 yet. I'm doing explosive training and pogos to strengthen it, and you have to take into consideration that Jonathan is not much taller than a 24-inch box. So that's a big jump for him. And Corey comes in with short answer is you can't. Long answer is you can't. It's hard to be productive in this type of an environment. And I have to give kudos to those team members that are putting out content in an environment that is that toxic at this point. Then that's what it is. It's just toxic. All the new business plans that are out there, all the new rumors of who's going to buy it, what are they going to do to the company? That just becomes a toxic environment that's really hard to be productive in. And Jonathan admits it is a very significant height. Yeah, Jeremy, I am a shortest. I only hang out with short people so I look taller, just so you know that. That's why I hang out with Corey. That's why I've hung out with Jonathan. It just makes my 5'11" look 6'4". That's all. So, what else do we have on the agenda? I don't have anything else on my list to talk about today. I hope Jonathan is recovering well. Looks like he's getting back at it, which is pretty awesome. When you see that man at an event taking shots and video, he's flying around there and he needs his Achilles to do that. So I'm glad that he is back to all of that. Mr. Beast is doing the Mr. Beast games. And apparently like a handful of CrossFitters were selected for this year's version of Mr. Beast. I started the first season of Mr. Beast. But I did not make it to the end. I thought it was interesting. It's definitely over dramatized for me. But I thought the games were fun. I thought, yeah, it was very, very interesting. But I know, and Jonathan St. Ashley Wozni, I know there's like a couple more. Bryn Curlin, I think, is doing it. Couple more semifinal level athletes I've seen on Instagram announce that they're part of the show as well. So I'll probably tune in, but I think they start with 1,000 people. So it's hard to like even see who's out there in the initial group. And sometimes if you did not watch it, it's like a big grid. And then if you're eliminated, the floor opens up and you just fall through it. Sometimes they eliminated a whole row, and it'll be 100 people, maybe gone. And to see who that was or to see who was on there makes it very difficult, or it's really difficult to even connect with the contestants. So that's, I think, the shortcoming of that game show. I think I'd like it a whole lot more if they started with like 100 and worked their way down from that, and maybe not such huge eliminations. And the other thing it does is, and maybe I just come from like sports where everything's kind of in your hands, right? There, when you're in a row of like 1,000 people, not 1,000, 100 people, and the row messes up, it may not have been anything that you had done that gets you eliminated. So it's really hard to get into that for me. Frida says, bring back the gladiators. I would not be opposed to that. But it's got to be like real gladiator. It's got to be like the real games. Amanda says, too much crying on there. I get annoyed real quick. Okay, so this will be the last thing I talk about. So my wife and I binge watched season 1 of The Traitors. Never watched it before, just heard like it's a really cool game. And what I found out is it's very much like a board game we play with my daughter called One Night Ultimate Werewolf. And basically what the board game is you close your eyes and there's a phone app and it makes one or two of you a werewolf. And then the idea is to find the werewolves before the clock expires. Traders is the same premise. Everybody's blindfolded. They identify 3 people to be a traitor. And then the game show is find the traitors before the end of the game. If you expose all the traitors, the faithful, win the money and split it. If a traitor is left or more, they win the money and they get to take it. So the game is won by a woman who played the game super well. She was a traitor. And everybody after the show was over was so pissed that she was lying and deceiving. And I'm like, you signed up for this game. The game was that 3 people had to hide amongst you and not let you know that they're a traitor so they could win. And the fact that you're now pissed that that person lied to you to get to the end is just baffling to me. Where are we in this world where you think that that should be fair? You signed up for a game show where the object is to lie to get to the end and be one of the surviving traitors and not get eliminated so that the faithful don't win. And when the traitor won, everybody's upset that that person bamboozled them and didn't allow them to identify her as a traitor. Jody, it's the first one. Traitor. Traitor. And I could not believe my ears. Like, I know I'm the old guy screaming, get off my lawn, and screaming at the clouds. But good God, people, get a backbone, get a skin, a thick skin. Like, this is utterly ridiculous that you're out here bitching and moaning because the woman played the game like it was supposed to be played. Yes, Frida. It's time for the young to grow a spine. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That is actually what one of the contestants said to the whiners and moaners. And she lost too. She said, don't hate the player, hate the game. She played the game the way it was supposed to be played, and you're pissed that she deceived you. Andrew Sten grew up in the participation trophy era. Everyone has to win something. Yes. Jeremy, I'm 40 and I'm already that guy. Yeah. Thanks. Welcome in. Welcome into the club. Yeah, everybody has to win something or it's unfair. It was actually a very riveting show. I loved the strategy of the traders. I thought they were smart. I thought they were calculated because every night they have to murder somebody and they're eliminated from the game. And because of who they murder, that's a clue as to who they are. And they were so calculated and strategic about it. It made watching it very, very fun for me. And the woman who won was freaking awesome. Like, everything was well thought out. She knew what she was getting into. She knew how to deceive them. She knew how to throw them off her scent. It was awesome. And she had played other reality. So half of the contestants were just regular Joes. The other half were people who played other reality games like Survivor or Big Brother or those. And she had been on other shows where she had made it to the end and let her emotions take over, and she ended up losing. And this time she did not let that happen. She was not going to let it happen again. And because of that, she was freaking awesome. So don't be a bitch. Take your grain of salt, whatever that you lost, move on. And that's where we're going to end today's show. So toughen up, get some thick skin, and Frida, I stopped crying about fairness when I was 6. Yeah, my mother did not tolerate it's unfair. She just didn't. We were not allowed to say that word. We weren't allowed to say I'm bored either, because if we said we were bored, we got stuff to do. Stay hard. There we go. There we go, Jeremy. All right, guys. This has been awesome. I got to get back to work. You guys are the best. Love you all. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Cannot wait. Have a great day. Bye.